With the accumulators in place, they're poised to begin the next phase, the test launch of Kingda Ka. It's one thing to build it, but will it work? Will the biggest, fastest roller coaster on Earth clear the final hurdle? February 15th, 2005. In spite of one of the most severe winters in the history of the eastern United States, the crew building Kingda Ka, the world's tallest, fastest roller coaster, have finally bolted the last piece of track into place. But the delays have come at a cost. They're over budget and weeks behind schedule. Opening day, April 23rd, is fast approaching.
At this point in the project, we're a little bit behind where I plan to be. We're working a second shift mechanical right now to try and get ourselves back on track.
That means getting the trains loaded onto the track. As the crane lifts each individual car into place and the crew guides the wheels onto the steel track, welders must shear down part of the track so the base of the train can slip over it. Every wheel has to be fine-tuned to glide perfectly along the rail. They quickly move on to the next phase, installing 473 magnetic brakes along the track. When you're dealing with speeds of 206 kilometers per hour, you need a fail-safe method to control that speed. From top to bottom, every joint and cross tie has to be a perfect fit. Every centimetre of track must be inspected to make sure there is clearance on all sides for the train and passengers to pass through safely. The engineers are preparing to conduct a pull-through test, building a lightweight fixture out of wood to simulate the exact dimensions of a train car with the passenger's arms fully extended. The catch is, they have to manually pull it around the entire track. Checking the clearance on the lower parts of the track is easy, but the 139-meter tower is an entirely different story. They come up with an approach that has never been attempted before.
Set you guys up there.
Just take us up, drop us off with our fixture. There we go. Down, hold the load, move down.
The crane delivers engineers and the fixture to the top of the tower. They must tie themselves securely to the track and move carefully. They're 139 meters off the ground with no safety net.
That side goes up, there you go.
One wrong move or one misstep could be fatal.
Let's take a few moments here. Good? Okay, so it's running by itself now, right? Okay, you're good. So far, so good.
A few minutes into the test, they hit potential trouble.
Well, how was the clearance?
We're about actually a half inch.
About a half an inch?
Three-quarters of an inch.
The plywood extension that simulates a rider's arm appears to be about 2.5 centimeters over the line at the top of the tower.
Yeah, we got about 2 inches.
In this business, a centimeter or two is huge. It could mean rebuilding this section of the track.
2 inches over the top of it. It's not over the side, though.
They remeasure on the spot. It turns out their plywood arm is a few centimeters longer than the required safety envelope. A false alarm, but the delay is costly. If they don't finish the test before dark, they'll have to start all over again, from the top down tomorrow morning. "10 hours later, and the light fading fast, the engineers are back on solid ground. The track is all clear."
Nice job.
Every little test like this, or big test like this, is one step closer to opening it.
With computer and system checks complete, it's finally time to launch the train.
So you'll see that train roll backwards just a little bit, and then they'll know it's there, and then it'll launch and go.
Engineers have been waiting for this day for more than a year. It's time to see if their hard work will pay off.
There's always a little bit of apprehension until the first train gets all the way around the track to make sure there aren't any mechanical interferences.
They conduct their first launches at night, so they don't interrupt construction work around the launch area. They begin launching the train at slow speeds, easing their way up to 206 kilometers per hour. By 3 in the morning, they're ready to try launching at full speed. It'll be a huge victory if it makes it over the top on the first full-powered run.
Trainer has to move the catch car back and forth to be in automatic position.
But there's a problem. At full power, the train does not clear the tower. They recalculate, adjust the launch settings, and try again. They work through the night. With the sun beginning to rise, they think they've cracked it.
Yep, are we ready? Go ahead, Joe. All right, here we go. Get over there. I can't believe it got up that high. I didn't think it would. That's a tease there.
The engineers boost the hydraulic power, reset the computer, and load up the coaster for one last try. If it doesn't make it over the top this time, it could mean serious problems with the hydraulic system.
Okay, Michael, get it right this time. Stand clear. Well, that looks nice.
The train finally clears the tower. They're ready to move to the next phase, launching a train full of test dummies.
Okay, is the plan to run the loaded one out and launch it too?
The plastic dummies are filled with water to simulate the weight of 18 passengers. The hydraulic launch system is straining to propel the empty trains up and over the top of the tower. Now they have to step up the power surge to push the heavier load over the top. Will it be enough?
Go ahead and pull forward.
The train cascades backwards. They reset and try again. It's not looking good. The hydraulics seem to be okay. Suspecting the problem is in the catch car, they call it a night. The following day, they call in the specialist.
Hey, Joe, so the catch car isn't coming back. I don't know if they've been in manual or whatever.
A few hours later, they're ready to try again.
We're ready to launch. How about you, Jeff? I'm clear.
It's a last-ditch effort. If this doesn't work, the catch car will have to be replaced. The whole season could be lost. It's a success. After more than a year of planning and construction, the ride finally appears to be working smoothly. February 15th, 2005. In spite of one of the most severe winters in the history of the eastern United States, the crew building Kingda Ka, the world's tallest, fastest roller coaster, have finally bolted the last. With the accumulators in place, they're poised to begin the next phase, the test launch of Kingda Ka. It's one thing to build it, but will it work? Will the biggest, fastest roller coaster on Earth clear the final hurdle?
Behind where I plan to be. We're working a second shift mechanical right now to try and get ourselves back on track.
That means getting the trains loaded onto the track. As the crane lifts each individual car into place and the crew guides the wheels onto the steel track, welders must shear down part of the track so the base of the train can slip over it. Every wheel has to be fine-tuned to glide perfectly along the rail. They piece of track into place. But the delays have come at a cost. They're over budget and weeks behind schedule. Opening day, April 23rd, is fast approaching.
At this point in the project, we're a little bit behind.